Hello and welcome to this segment of Sam's Plants World. I'm your host, Samantha Bremekamp, and yes, it is really warm out, but I have been putting off planting the tomatoes that I started from seed for way too long. So today is the day. They're going in the raised beds that we built last year, as you recall, if you caught that episode. If not, find it forever on YouTube under Sam's Plants World playlist. But I've amended the soil. It's really important with raised beds, elevated beds, even beds on the ground, to amend them to add all the nutrients needed for the plants for this planting season. I've added some really great garden soil, but I'm still going to include a couple things because I am planting tomatoes. I have gotten brute worm castings, which is worm poop, and some dolomite, which adds things like calcium and stuff to try to help prevent blossom rot. If you've ever suffered as a tomato gardener and been really excited about a tomato growing, then find one that has like a dark spot on the bottom, and it just really is heartbreaking. So this is one way to try to prevent such a thing. After I plant the tomatoes, I will add the banana slurry, which is super easy to make. Take banana peel, put it in a jar, fill it with water, close the top, let it sit until the water turns brown, and then you're ready. And that has really awesome things like potassium, magnesium, phosphorus that is really, really excellent for tomatoes and other things in the garden. So first, I'm going to take a handful of the delicious worm poop. And oddly enough, it does not have a smell. I'm also not putting my face into the bag, so it might if you accidentally sniff it. I'm going to blend this all in, by the way. I'm not just going to leave it like this. For the other side, I will use a cup because it's a fine powder. Dolomite lime. You do not want to do this on a windy day. Okay, that is enough for this section. Now we do the thing carefully. We mix all of it in. Okay. Perfect. All right. Now, the tomatoes that I'm going to be planting are black cherry from the really awesome gardening seed kit from Alicia. Thank you. And some persimmons that I've been collecting seeds for the past 5 years. They're this delicious, smoky, heavy orange tomato. So good, straight up. Tomato and cheese sandwiches, caprese, and you can make it into a delicious sauce. Really versatile tomato if you're looking to change it up. And of course, I'm also going to be planting some flavor bombs, which we got at the grocery store. And I kept some of the seeds because they're so delicious. So I'm going to start with the persimmon. A lot of happy roots. There's two here. Of course, I'm going to separate them out. They don't like being crowded. I'm going to dig a hole with this delicious soil. And boom. I'm going to pinch off the bottom leaf. Tomatoes are mostly prone to diseases. And so if their leaves are touching dirt and it rains or anything, diseases can then catch onto the leaves and affect the plant, which is a bummer. So far I did 1 persimmons. I'm going to do 1 black cherry. So cool. And then 1 flavor bomb. Flavor bomb. Flavorbomb.com. Like that. I also got the shredded straw that I will put over all of the things that I'm planting today. as like a really light, great for the plants mulch to keep the moisture in, to keep the pests away, and to try to prevent weeds, which are just annoying. Note that I'm planting them by nasturtium. That way, nasturtium can take the hit from pests coming through. And it's as easy as that. So don't forget, it's not too late. A lot of people wait till Mother's Day to start planting, which is totally cool. Or you can do it today. Why wait? Make sure you do it when the clouds are out because it makes it so much nicer than baking in the sun. Plus, it's really nice for the plants to kind of get a little chance to get into their new home, get used to it, and start to throw their roots out. I'm going to water these with a slurry, and about once a week, I will feed them. And yeah, amazing. And that, my friends, is how easy it is to plant once you've amended the soil in your garden. Happy planting. I also wanted to share that I'm going to be adding some little basil plants that I've also grown from seed with the tomatoes. They're companion plants. They do really well together. And it just makes sense to add it, but make sure you're putting it in a place where the basil will also get sun. I also have parsley, which is great for pollinators and delicious for cooking. All of the parsleys like this that I grew are specifically for pollinators. I want butterflies to want to frequent this garden. I think it's really an intelligent move for you to plant things understanding that they will be eaten by pollinators. So your expectations are okay and you're not going to be heartbroken when you come out and see certain plants eaten. And also, if you have a little bit more of each plant, it won't be as heartbreaking if something happens to one of the plants. Just my suggestion. Little basil, little parsley, delicious tomatoes, perfection. I cannot wait until it's cooking season or coming out here and just being able to take a tomato and eat it like an apple. I'm one of those. Are you? Another tip, if you have a raised bed or an elevated bed or a garden on the ground, you're probably going to be dealing with critters, which are really annoying. So I suggest one easy thing is taking deer netting, which is a light plastic, but can be very tall, and a garden stake, like a tomato stake. You're stringing it through, and I've made it so you could easily put it into place. Nobody can get up here. But if you need to access things, you could easily pull the tomato stake out with the fence sewn through it and access the tomatoes or whatever plants. A very cheap, convenient, easy for anybody to do solution to garden critters when you're trying to fortify things and not come out and have your heart broken with half-bitten tomatoes that they just don't feel like finishing, which I feel like is the worst part of it. But anyway, really easy. You can get this material anywhere, Ocean State, Job Lot, Lowe's, Home Depot, online, whatever. Super cheap, super great. Oh, hey friends. Do you notice this beautiful copper rod with copper wrapped around it? It is a grounding rod. I've done some research, read some things, and Kevin took apart some copper wires. No, we didn't steal them from someone's yard or house. Wrapped around a copper pole and has put it into the garden, allegedly. If this works correctly, a grounding rod will help keep pests away and potentially help the garden flourish. I have no idea if it really works or not, but we're going to try it. Worst case scenario, it just looks like a pretty addition to the garden. I don't know. If you've tried this and had luck, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Happy to show just a little bit of the sugar snap update after the several days of a lot of water. We finally have the sun again, although not right now, which thank goodness. But they are growing so tall every day. And soon the flowers will start, which is great because we have so many pollinators already visiting the garden. And as we know, there are good pests, and pollinators are absolutely good pests. Just your friendly reminder, A, to eat bananas because they're good for you, and B, they're super good for the garden. So to keep the peel, put it in a jar. It's pretty exciting stuff. Put water in it. Doesn't get more exciting than this, my friends. Put a lid on it. One-handed lefty is not, there we go. Still did it. Cool. And now we're just going to let it sit until the banana peel starts to decompress and the water gets cloudy. And then you have a banana slurry, which is really, really good for the garden, especially things like tomatoes. So, boom. Use your waste. Use it to benefit your garden. The end. Just at the base, I am adding the delicious banana slurry. Oh gosh, she's so thirsty already. It's funny, after a million days of rain, and then all of a sudden, the soil is so dry anyway. So that's that. We'll now go over to the original stuff. Mind your step. Okay. Just around the base, not getting the leaves. Oh gosh, you're so thirsty, my guy. And then hopefully that will make them very happy and they will grow big and strong and give us lots of tomatoes. Yum, yum, yum. Some garden pests are okay, like my friend, the spider. And some garden pests are not okay. And we're going to learn all about the good kind. Bum, bum, bum. On an all new Sam Explains the World with your host, Samantha Bremekamp. We're going to deep dive into the importance of good garden friends that help keep bad garden pests at bay. I highly recommend purchasing Ladybugs from Black Creek. It's in the refrigerator section. There's about 300 in here, and I've let them out into the yard. Super cute, super easy. You release them at night. Cooler. Oh, sorry. Hi, Ladybugs. Put them in at night. Obviously, the flashlight on my phone is probably a little disorienting for them, but I've spread them across the entire garden, and they are already going to work, going after the bad garden pests. You release them at night so they have a better chance of getting familiar with your garden without it getting picked off, of course, by birds and such. But did you know that a ladybug can eat up to 5,000 aphids over its lifetime? That's a lot of garden pests. They can also help the garden get rid of other soft-bodied insects like mites, mealybugs, leaf hoppers, along with insect eggs and even ants, the kind that would destroy your garden. So this is why it's really important to have them. In order to attract them, if you don't want to go buy them, you can grow things that will attract aphids like broccoli, cauliflower, um, Brussels sprouts. Those type of plants, for whatever reason, make aphids come a-calling, and they will surround the stem, the leaves, and of course the delicious vegetables, if it ever gets a chance to grow that far. But ladybugs are so cool. They're not even actually bugs, which is kind of confusing. They've also been known as ladybirds, lady beetles, because they are actually beetles and not bugs. Isn't a beetle a bug? Not if you're getting scientific about it, but look at these beauties. They are so helpful, so good for the garden, and really making themselves at home. Spreading out, spreading joy, and feasting
on the annoying things that are destroying the garden. Highly recommend. Because of the rain, I had to go out and rescue the peonies that had already started to bloom or were fully bloomed, or the ones that feel like marshmallows, because it's supposed to rain for many days and many nights. I didn't want all of them to be awash. Another thing you could do is to use umbrellas to cover them. It may not look chic, but at least it'll save them from getting destroyed from the rain. But right now these ready get put in vases and they will brighten up the inside. Anyway, it's going to be glorious. The life of a peony owner, you know what I'm talking about. Look at this distinguished platypus tea holder. It holds loose tea. You pop open its tummy. Super easy to clean. It's made of silicone. Some holes in the back of the head, a couple holes in the beak, and just adorable. The other one is gray. It's just such a whimsical way of enjoying your tea. I love it. Speaking of a rainy day, one of my favorite things to do outside of collecting flowers and making bouquets to bring some brightness into the house is making a nice cozy cup of tea. And what better way to add to the tea than adding honey, which we're going to be learning about. I'm going to be doing a field trip edition visiting an apiary, the Americana apiary, no less. And so I've been inspired to utilize this contraption that my darling mother sent me. You put honey in this, which we'll do together right now, and then you're able to lift it up and just, which we'll see. So first, I have honey. I recommend getting honey from a local spot for so many reasons. Local bees are able to help with allergies to the local pollen, which totally makes sense. And it's very cool. The Americana apiary is at the Leesport Farmers Market every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. So pop over there and see Dave or Kim or both and buy some of their delicious honey, which obviously uses local bees to produce the delicious golden treasure and may even help you with allergies. Okay. Yeah, the honey has been put in. It has a bottom so that if there's any leak or drip or whatever, it'll catch and you won't end up enticing little ants inside. But let's see if it works. This is the first time, so it's going to take a second to get there since this is the first time I've ever done it. Oh my gosh, there's a little stopper I'm supposed to take off. I didn't realize it, and I dropped it in my tea. So don't do that unless you want to be a rebel without a cause. And there you go. Really easy to get honey out without getting super sticky. I love it. I love it. Give a little platypus some extra goodness for his spa treatment / honey bath in tea. And I got the tea at the PA Dutch Farmers Market, locally made and created tea concoctions. I'm going to rinse this off and then put the stopper back on. But just want to show you how easy that is. And how cute is this? Looks like a beehive. Really easy to grab, access, and you don't get sticky. And that's like the one downfall of honey is that you get sticky. So, ta-da! We've solved all those issues. On this Sam Splains quick tip, I'm going to show you what I do with peonies that open as we're getting a week's worth of rain. I don't know if any of you have ever grown peonies or ever seen them after a rain, but the rain kind of destroys them if they've opened up and they get left outside to get soggy. So I've cut all the ones that have been opened, including those that have like the marshmallow feeling buds. When making a bouquet of peonies, you should really cut them when they are marshmallow if you're going to do bouquets or put them in a vase. I filled up both of these vases. I've added some of the little flower food crystals that come with bouquets that are sent. I always save them in case I don't use all of it, and I utilize it this way. But because we're getting such a big rain for so long, we're supposed to get it for the next, 4 or 5 days. I ran out in the rain, which is why I'm soggy, and snipped the ones. So at least they get some life inside to brighten up the house with these soggy things. Now, the ones that have marshmallows, I'm exceptionally excited about because those will end up blooming inside and will bloom way longer than the ones that are already completely open. I know it's confusing, but that's how it goes. So I'm going to start doing 2 at the same time. You don't have to do it like that. Of course, I just prefer it. As I'm going through, I'm trying to do like an even amount. This one, so good. It's important to take the little leaves off the bottom. You don't want leaves just kind of sitting in water. That's inviting all sorts of trouble. How gorgeous. Just the colors of these are just so fabulous. I love peonies, but they are short-lived if you are in an area that's going to get rain. And I feel like that happens. What I've done in the past is I've run out with umbrellas to cover all of the peonies. Oh, this right here, I don't know if you can see this bug, probably not, but it's a baby ladybug. So I'm going to run it outside. I know they look super gnarly, but that's just the juvenile phase, which we'll learn all about on a different episode. Because I actually went to the store and bought a pack of ladybugs that had about 300 in it and sprinkled it at night across my garden. And now there's a bunch of baby ladybugs going around, which is awesome. But I'm going to pause right here so I can run this out so they can go back outside. Okay, so hold tight. Trying to go in order of how they're tangled up. So pretty. This one will last a little bit longer because it's not completely open, which is great. I will put you here. It's really wonderful to be able to bring a gorgeous bouquet of flowers to an event, to a neighbor. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly whose family lives far away, or maybe they don't have any family. This is such an easy way of brightening their day. And or for those that are super business minded, cut flowers, great business, takes a lot of money. You just need to know what you're doing. And you need to understand that if you are cutting them at this point, it's basically too late and you won't be able to send them anywhere. And if you're selling them as bouquets, the people buying won't want the ones that are going to die in the car, basically. Oh, just gorgeous. Another plus of cutting it one it's a marshmallow is that the giant ants that have the symbiotic relationship with these won't be in them yet. So for those that get squeamish about inviting ants into your house or into your office, whatever, that's one way. Now you're short. There you go, shorty. One way to try to prevent that. Not as nice of a gift if you're giving a bouquet and it brings friends with it. People might get a little grossed out. So we are puppy sitting for our friend Cynthia, who's amazing. And we are watching, you might hear Percy flying around because he's playing with one of his toys. Percy, can I lift you up to show you to everybody? Can I borrow you for a second? This handsome boy, this dapper gentleman is Percy. He's a rescue. He's 5, and we are having the best time having him stay with us. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. There we go. Thank you, Percy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Percy found a tennis ball. Good job, Percy. Bouncing off the walls, which is perfect because it is raining and that is not fun for a pup who loves adventure. Luckily, I just found some raincoats that were way too small for our girl Marmalade, who unfortunately went over the Rainbow Bridge this past April, basically unexpectedly. And so babysitting other people's, pup sitting other people's dogs feels nice right now. Not to get too deep on you guys, but stuff happens. You gotta keep going. Okay, these are actually looking really nice. So pretty. So pretty. Oh yes. Yes. And the interesting thing about peonies also is that the ones with the deeper colors seem to bloom first. And then I feel like it goes in a scale like that. Like those that have a lot of color and great sun exposure bloom first. And then those with a little bit less, like the pink ones, will bloom next. The lighter pink ones, obviously these are a gorgeous deep pink. And the white ones, that to me are the most fragrant, bloom last. It's interesting. I don't really get it, except for pigmentation, collecting sun. Kind of makes sense that the these would go first because they're able to absorb more. Lighter ones kind of bounce it back. Mm-mm-mm. So pretty. Okay, even the leaves are pretty, but those will get mulched into a compost eventually. All right. So tall. Okay. Minus this giant pile of leaves. Pretty spectacular stuff. And there we have one way to have your peonies last a little bit longer, especially in the rain. But we've learned some things too about collecting them when they feel like a marshmallow. That's when it's good to cut them. You can put them in the fridge or put them in a vase, and then they will last longer, about 10 days, as opposed to the ones that have already completely opened, which will only last a couple days because they're already on their way out. But thank you so much for joining me for this Sam Explains Quick Explain on peonies, rain, and how to do a really nice, quick house brightening arrangement to make them last longer than if they just got destroyed in the rain. Thank you so much for joining me on this garden-tastic, super sweaty, all-new episode of Sam Explains the World with your host, Samantha Bremekamp. I've hoped you picked up some things and at the very least got inspired to go start a garden or go look at somebody else's garden. It's never too late to start, and it's going to be awesome.